So YouTube, for once, has actually made a good decision. Yes, you heard me correctly. I think the heavens have opened up today because they actually are trying to help us out here with our pre-video checks. So as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, there are a bunch of YouTubers getting falsely terminated right now, false community guideline strikes and things like that. And YouTube has denied that these are bugs. They said that this is all intentional, and they are actually doubling down on some of the false terminations that they've handed out, and even on some of the false community guideline strikes that they've handed out. Well, through some suggestions of maybe myself and other YouTubers out there that I've talked to them, they are expanding their pre-publishing checking tool to cover more types of potential violations. So basically, if they believe that you have violated one of their community guidelines, which they falsely accused me of doing so pretty recently, they are actually going to tell you now before you upload the video. Before, you would just upload a video and apparently YouTube would claim that they checked it, and then a few days later you would get a community guideline strike. You can't upload a video for a week, and that video is taken down from your channel. So on November 21st, they said, "We know how much effort you put into your content and that sometimes community guidelines violations are unintentional." Well, in my case, it wasn't unintentional. You guys just incorrectly said I violated your guidelines, but regardless, to help you avoid the frustration of a removal or strike, we've been testing a new feature that checks for some community guidelines violations in the video upload flow, similar to copyright and advertiser-friendly guidelines checks. We're excited to share that we will be expanding on this experiment to a larger group of creators. How does this tool work? In the upload flow in Studio, creators with access to this feature will see an initial check for community guidelines in the check section, similar to reviews for potentially copyrighted content. If the video is flagged by our automated systems, you'll have the option to make changes to the video before publishing. You can also choose to publish the video anyway as is, but the content may be restricted and could result in a community guideline strike if the violation is confirmed after it's live. Few important things to note: this feature is still in testing and is not available for all video uploads or to all channels at this time. This check is not a comprehensive check of all potential community guidelines violations. It may not catch everything that may impact your video. We encourage creators to still ensure that their content complies with all of our policies before posting. Our goal is to give you more control and transparency. This is something that we've talked about in the DMs with YouTube, into how YouTube's policies apply to your videos so you can make more informed decisions and avoid potential issues in the future. So it is kind of funny in the wording of their stuff. It seems like all the blame is being placed on us. You know, if you unintentionally violated our community guidelines, this is a way to help you guys out. Well, I mean, sometimes people don't violate your community guidelines at all, and you guys still give them warnings or strikes. You guys have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, but this video right over here got a false community guideline strike from YouTube, and they said I was violating child safety in that video, which is just so stupid. So in the case of their new update, you know, obviously they thought I falsely violated their community guidelines. When you go over here and upload a video, you're going to be uploading the video and processing it. Then you have the option to select the monetization that you want on it and then the checks for it. So with monetization, you decide whether you want it on or off. Let's say we do on, then there's an ad suitability rating here. So basically you have to try to identify if there's inappropriate language in your content, adult content, violence, stuff like that. And regardless of whatever you say, YouTube is going to conduct their own check anyways, and as you can see, it's doing that right over here. So previously, if they thought you were violating your community guidelines, like, they wouldn't really even tell you. Your video would just end up getting a strike in a day or two. But now, according to their new experiment, they're going to be saying it in the check section over here. So let's say I say that there's, you know, abbreviated or obscured profanity over here. So I'm going to go ahead and press submit rating. And now, according to whatever I said, they're going to have some checks over here. So they are automatically going to check it for copyright, as you can see, and they mentioned that in that blog post. And then in terms of ad suitability, they're going to check if my video is suitable for ads. And now they're going to be doing an additional check with this experiment to make sure that it actually follows the community guidelines. And they do say over here that these checks aren't final. Issues may come up in the future that may impact your video. And I think that's really stupid. That doesn't make any sense at all, because you guys should be doing a comprehensive enough check to make sure that our video is not violating community guidelines, to make sure that our video is suitable for ads. A lot of times when YouTube does things, they retroactively enforce the rules. So basically, when you upload a video, they'll say, yep, everything is good, no issues were found. You upload the video, and then later they'll say, oh yeah, by the way, you violated our community guidelines, which is really dumb in my opinion. I get that YouTube's AI is going to make mistakes, but it shouldn't be so bad that you do a check for ad suitability, a check for copyright, a check for community guidelines warnings, and still they will later say, actually, we were wrong about all of our checks. Your video does violate our shit. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? Here is a live stream that I did, you know, maybe a few weeks ago, where I was watching like old YouTube videos, and apparently there was some like copyrighted music in the video. I uploaded the video, everything was fine. They did a copyright check after I did the live stream, everything was good. All of a sudden, a few days later, they're like, actually, yeah, we can't monetize this video. Okay, so I go ahead and remove, you know, some part of the music in the video so it can be remonetized. Get another notification at 12 p.m. Oh, by the way, yeah, no, it can't be monetized. I go again and find their new thing that they said was wrong with the video. I go and correct that too. Then again, a week later, they're like, no, yeah, we can't monetize this video. Dude, like, to be honest, their checks are not well done at all when they are checking for if your video has copyrighted music, or if they're checking for community guidelines, warnings, and strikes and stuff like that. 3 different times they told me my live stream can't be monetized. And remember, nothing changed with the live stream. They just kept, I guess, rechecking it and finding something new that was wrong every single time. And then obviously with the video that I mentioned earlier that they gave me a false community guideline strike for, they had already checked it when I had uploaded the video. Then made an appeal, and then they immediately rejected that. And then later, way later, they said, oh yeah, by the way, I guess you were right. I guess your content didn't violate our community guidelines. So it is a step in the right direction, but with YouTube's AI, I don't really even know. I mean, hopefully they're doing the checks properly. This is something that you guys have heard me mention before as well, but I also had a video that I had uploaded like 9 months prior to August that once again made it through all those safety policy checks and all those monetization checks, copyright checks, and everything like that. And then 9 months later, this August, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, by the way, your content violated our community guidelines. So once again, I understand that AI is not going to be perfect, but it is really stupid to conduct those checks that we were talking about in the first place if the checks are not going to be done properly. And then it doesn't take you, it doesn't take YouTube a day or two to realize their mistake. 9 months later, they decide, oh yeah, by the way, your content was not suitable for our community guidelines. So that's the type of stuff that worries me whenever YouTube announces changes like this. I really hope that they are able to actually do proper checks for this type of stuff and make sure that if our video is supposedly violating community guidelines, they actually let us know, because this was something that I had talked about YouTube about in the DMs as well. Like, for example, in that recent situation I was talking about when I got that false community guidelines strike, they didn't even tell me what I did wrong in terms of like what part of the video I violated their child safety policies on. They didn't give me a timestamp or anything. How am I supposed to improve in the future if they don't tell me that? But they did tell me in the DMs that they're working on actually being more specific with policy descriptions and timestamps, and they said they've been doing that for a while. So hopefully that is also going to be complicit with this new update that they're doing, where they're claiming that they're going to be more transparent and actually let us know if our videos violate community guidelines or not. So yeah, it's just funny because, whenever YouTube makes a good decision, I'm going to make a video about it. Whenever they make a bad decision, I'm going to make a video about it. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but the reason why it seems like my channel is mostly about criticizing YouTube is because YouTube usually makes bad decisions. That's why whenever they do have an update where I feel like they're doing something that is actually good or beneficial, I do want to talk about it and give them their credit, because if in execution, if they're doing it how I hope they do it, this should actually be a good idea. Obviously, we'd all rather YouTube not be so reliant on AI moderation. Obviously, we'd rather see if human beings can actually check some stuff every now and then. But YouTube's not going to budge on AI. They're just going to glaze AI for the rest of time. So we're just going to have to get used to it, unfortunately. So at least we can give them a little bit of a win in these types of things. Hopefully they are actually able to identify if our content is, quote, breaking community guidelines. And hopefully they can actually tell us what part of our video was doing so, because there's so many times where, I get demonetized for something, or I get a false strike or whatever. And like I said earlier, they don't even tell me what I did wrong. So how am I supposed to improve? And like I said earlier, this is in limited testing and this is just an experiment right now. So it's probably going to take a while to roll out to everybody, or maybe YouTube will find some problem in it and not roll it out at all. But at least it's a step in the right direction. They're trying to actually let us know if our content is violating community guidelines, and we can actually fix it before we upload the video so we don't get an actual strike. It's a step in the right direction, but YouTube still got a long way to go. I mean, I would love to still do like an interview with YouTube and talk to them about a lot of their problems, but like I said, they've been ghosting me recently. I think it's because they understand that the interview would be a lot more scathing than they would like. But hey, I mean, I messaged them about the interview. They even said themselves that they love the idea of an interview or something more real with a creator, so they may take me up on that. I last messaged them trying to set it up in November 15th. Haven't gotten a response since, so seems like they don't want to do it anymore. And by the way, this icon over here indicates that they have read the message, so yeah, I guess no interview. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. It seems like YouTube is trying to make a step in the right direction. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. See ya.